Today's bike check is the 1986 Hutch TrickStar, aka Purple Rain. This bike got its name because of the color that I restored it and painted it. And there's a whole story to this bike. Generally, the Hutch TrickStars are renowned as one of the freestyle bikes of the 80s. Always very popular. Everybody remembers them. You ride a Hutch TrickStar down the street, and just anytime in current times, somebody's bound to spot it because of this unique frame design here and the Enterprise, USS Enterprise, they call it, I think, the platform. So basically this frame really, if you look at it, at least the rear end of the bike, is just one of the Pro Racers. Loop tail bike, has the added on top tube platform, but still traditional frame underneath. You could take that frame platform off and it's just a regular BMX frame from there back. The specialty is the front with all the pierced down tube, with the little triangulation that's going on there, kind of like the quad angle. Pretty specific for this bike. So when people see the Hutch TrickStar, it is a renowned bike. Everybody remembers somebody that had a TrickStar. They were very popular with a lot of different colors and things like that. And this one is Purple Rain. I don't know how well this will come across in a video. This color is very hard to highlight and show specifically how your eyes see it. But it is an awesome color. And of course, this is the era of Purple Rain with Prince and the Revolution and so forth. So they named all their colors something a little specific. They had a great color palette across the board on all their bikes. Everybody kind of rode a different bike. Woody was always synonymous with the pink bike. Mike Dominguez had the futuristic black. Other team members, I mean, it allowed you to differentiate yourself. The bike's colors, all these bikes, you saw a whole lineup at Rockville BMX of all the different bike colors that you could get. You could definitely put yourself together something very custom and make it uniquely yours. So this is no different. This bike came to me because I was restoring, this would be the summer, I could say the winter of 2004 into 2005. I was restoring my futuristic black Hutch TrickStar at Hub City Cycles. And a guy I went to high school with, Mark Conrad, came in, recognized the bike, and said, I used to have one of those. I went to college, and I think I had stuck it under my mom's porch, and it's probably still there. Well, lo and behold, several weeks later, Mark rolls into Hub City with a decrepit Hutch bike that's seen its better days, and most of the days were under the porch while he went to college and so forth. So anyway, I'll put some pictures up of the progress of this bike, but what it amounts to is I took the bull by the horns. I didn't part the bike out or sell it. I told him I would restore it, I would do something with it, and I've maintained my promise. And that was, like I said, 2005. So this bike's been around for quite some time. As a matter of fact, when I was in the process of cleaning it up for the bike check, I realized that this bike has been restored longer. It's been restored longer than it was original. So it's got some scuffs and bruises in here, but I've owned this bike for 21 years now, and it's been ridden a lot of different places and so forth. So it has earned some of the bumps and scrapes and bruises and whatnot that it has. So we'll do the rundown on the parts spec and so forth. Again, this bike came to me as a decrepit bike, and I'll flash some pictures up here. A rusty white TrickStar. This is a Japanese bike. You can usually tell the Japanese bikes by the length of the platform for the first part. These struts are straighter up and down, and there's a lot less extension beyond it when it goes past the brake there. That's a telltale sign as far as the Japanese spec bike. So this is not a USA made frame, not super sought after in that respect. So it wasn't worth keeping as a survivor or, making things like that. Also, the shorter pegs that they used on these, not the best, but they did clear when you were doing Miami hoppers and things like that. The spec on the bike, I mean, this is a mixed match bike, so it is not really spec'd as exactly how it would have been back in the day. I just wanted to make it a nice rider. And some of these parts, namely the brakes, seat post clamp, I think that's about it. That came from Mark's original bike, the white TrickStar. So the brakes are original paint, and these were the brakes that were on this bike. How this whole project came about was I located a set of NOS handlebars. These Mike Dominguez ladder bars were on eBay. NOS, Purple Rain in color, never installed on a bike. I don't even recall the price. It's probably something that sounds crazy now because these parts go for triple, double, quadruple, whatever of what they sold for originally. I feel like the bars were $100, which if you'd buy a set of handlebars and have them repainted, you'd spend $100. And I thought it was cool that I could buy them and then have the exact color match paint that would go, that I could have the paint matched on the frame and fork and seat post. And that was done by Travis Hess, Tukey. And again, this is a long time ago, and I prepped a frame up and gave him the handlebars and said, can you match a frame and fork color to these handlebars? And I got back a super awesome bike. And what's crazy about Mr. Perfectionist, Travis, is he wasn't that happy with the paint match. Maybe if this was a car and that was a car door shutting against a quarter panel or something, you might be able to see a little bit of a hue difference between the handlebars and the frame and fork, but not in my case. I don't see any of that. I saw a beautiful rendition of a 1986 bike that was brought back to life. So the overall spec of the bike, the significance of the dyno Spintech stem, these are the double cable design. These things are crazy, but this was the kind of the answer to the rotor. And if you see the operation of that, it's complicated, convoluted, but it does pull the cables evenly. It's got a double tube on, or a double brake cable on the bottom. And I put a gyro cable on there and just kind of made it work. So that's pretty cool. But that actual dyno Spintech stem came on my futuristic black TrickStar, my other 1986 TrickStar, the Invasion Tour weapon. So that's why that stem's on there. The wheels, these are original Skyway Tough wheels, probably late 80s. These are plastic hub, loose ball bearing wheel set. And they came on my Skyway TA. So there's a lot of intermingling on my bikes as far as the parts that came on them and what they ended up with and whatnot. So this is just another one of those. I will tell you the significance of this restoration is the fact that these caps, even though they don't match at all, these rad caps, dice caps, I don't know what the brand was on these, but they're drilled diagonally. So they are not on the flat side. They're on the pointed side as far as how they attach. They're translucent green, and they don't match the bike at all, but they were on the bike when Mark gave it to me. So they are on the bike now. They'll stay with the bike. So if people ask me about different things about the bike, that's one of the things. Another latest addition was these donuts that actually look like sprinkled donuts. Pork Chop had those on sale, and I thought it was kind of fitting for this bike, kind of matched. Again, the part spec on the bike is nothing super elaborate. It's not super high end. It's got reproduction of flight cranks on it, just the probably Taiwanese made cranks with the sealed bottom bracket. So pretty neat in that respect as far as the spec that's on the bike. The other thing that you'll notice on here is the DC ride, kind of momentous. I mean, that was a good time we used to have down there on the Gravely Point. We used to ride through the DC monuments and so forth on a bunch of BMX bikes. Hutch Donut seat clamp. This is the labeled Hutch seat clamp with kind of the offset design. It's skinnier on the front, fatter on the back. This is the high caliber era. So it is not the full donut clamp with the No Hutch logo that would be more sought after than what this is. Just a 90s Diamondback padded seat just to make it comfortable for whoever's riding the bike. Comp ST tires. These are on a lot of my bikes because I bought a batch and ended up using those on a couple of different bikes on my Hutches and Haros and whatnot. So, of course, a pair of beat up but still working MKS Graphite X pedals. You'll hear that a lot in my bike reviews. This one has been used for some street riding. I'm guessing this is from the era of my General or my Haro, where we're starting to get into some curb grinds and things like that. Again, on the Hutch frame, whether they were US or Japanese spec, they had these little platforms that were basically a pedal cage welded to the chainstay and just gave you an extra platform. So if you use the pegs, you'd kind of use that in combination. Again, the paint does have some chips and scars here and there and things like that. But like I said, as I was cleaning this bike, I realized I've owned this bike restored longer than it lived when it was original, between the time 1986 and 2005 when it was restored. So anyway, that is the life and times of this bike. I kept this handy here. When I store the bike, this is the Hutch custom Hutch stand that I do that with. I got this, and I can't remember his name. I think it's Chris, down at Eastern Panhandle Bike when they did some of their swaps. And I do little show cards and things like that for the bikes when I take them and show them. But I'll have better pictures on this as far as stuff you can see as far as how the bike was restored, the restoration work that was done on it. So that's it. The 1986 Purple Rain Hutch TrickStar.